Hello, I'm Professor Shadow. I hope you all enjoyed that full review I made on Holes. Another full review is on its way. But now I'm going to just do a short review of a movie that just came out that I saw yesterday. And that is How to Train Your Dragon 2. So I'm pretty sure most of you have probably seen the first How to Train Your Dragon movie. It got really good reviews. I know it's in like the 90s. On RottenTomatoes.com. It's at least like above 90%, I think. And the sequel, How to Train Your Dragon 2, also is in the 90%. So they're both very well critically acclaimed films. So obviously you had to see one of them. But the first one came out in 2010, and it was made by Dreamworks, and they only had 1 year to make it, so it's absolutely amazing how they could bring out a movie that good in only 1 year. This film is much more hyped because everybody saw it first and everybody liked it. So this film takes place 5 years after the last one. So all the characters are a bit more grown up, but the film mainly emphasizes on Hiccup and Aster, and those are really the only characters, and also the father and stuff. It doesn't really, like the other characters, like the other kids, they're in a bit, but they're not in it like a lot. But they're in it enough so they don't feel like they're completely forgotten. Which is one of the reasons why I think this is a really good film. Also, I think it has a lot more dragons than the last one. Like, there are like dragons everywhere in this film. So the film is basically it has kind of a huge plot, but it's not like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 has, and it's all a big clusterfuck. It's actually it's actually a really good plot. There are flying scenes, a lot of flying scenes, just like in the last film. But I feel like the flying scenes in this one, like there are less of them, and they seem a bit less, as in you feel like you're flying, than the first one. But I think that was a big thing about the first one that a lot of people loved. This one was trying to have more of a plot than the first one. But the first one had a good plot too, but this one's trying to have more story driven. But it still had flying scenes, and the flying scenes were just as phenomenal as they were in the last film. They even changed the flying scenes, as in Hiccup also can kind of glide, he can glide a bit when he jumps off Toothless. So yeah, those are really good flying scenes. And this film also, and this isn't much of a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but this film also introduces Hiccup's mom, she's also big into training dragons. And basically she has this, basically the plot of this film, the basic plot is Hiccup and Ashton find these guys who have been trying to like work for this big evil dictator who wants to like rule the world and make an army of evil dragons, you know. And so he has like a bunch of people that are dragon trappers. And so basically the idea is if you have an alpha dragon, which are huge dragons, they'll be in control of every other dragon. And so the idea is that this dictator guy wants to kill the other alpha so that he can be in control of all of them and like rule the world. There's a lot to the plot that happens to it. I mean, the breakdown, yeah, it's just one, but there's a bit more add to it, and there's a lot of like stuff like that you get to hear, like characters and stuff that they wouldn't think of in the first film, like a bit more about like what was going on with Hiccup's family. So This film is a bit darker than the first one. I don't remember the first one much, but the first one was really hard. This one was a bit more serious. But it still had a lot of humor in it too. I think they're trying to make the series, this How to Train Your Dragon into like a trilogy, and usually the middle one's the darkest, as in like that, like the dark Christopher Nolan Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was the darkest. The Star Wars trilogy, Empire Strikes Back was the darkest. So I'm thinking that's what they're trying to do. But anyways, this film had a lot, like a really good soundtrack, really good animation, really good acting, and really good characters. Like the characters, even, like as little as we see at the other kids, they still interact with each other a lot, and they're really fun characters. This is just like a fun movie to watch because the characters really have chemistry with each other. There was really no character in this movie that I felt was felt was like a bit just not very well written, other than the main villain, strangely. I don't know, I felt he was kind of just a basic crazy guy that wants to kill people and stuff. He didn't really seem that great of a character. He was still pretty intimidating though, but he wasn't really like a super well written villain. He was just your basic guy that just wants to kill people. You know, like me. So, so you were wondering if I thought this film was better than the first one. And honestly, I think that they're actually a bit equal. Because this first film had a lot, it was good seeing how, like the dragons and the people, how much they bonded together when they trained them, and this one had that too. So really everything good in the first one is here in the second one too. And but I mean, I can't really say one is better than the other. I mean, I could safely say I enjoyed this one better, but I really think both films are equal. So maybe I'll say that How to Train Your Dragon 2 is slightly better than the first one. Well, they're both really amazing films. So if you haven't seen the first one, I definitely recommend you see that one. But there's not too much continuity between them. It's nothing. All you really need to know is that they train dragons, that's all. But I still recommend you see this film and you see the first one. So yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is definitely a good film to show that Dreamworks isn't just pop culture references and stuff. It's like Kung Fu Panda, as in it makes its own jokes. But How to Train Your Dragon is a bit less goofy than Kung Fu Panda. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. And it's a lot of good action in the film. It's like probably like a film that pushes the limits for the PG rating and like the violence, it's quite intense during the fighting scene. So yeah, I definitely recommend you watch this film.